If you are at all a negative person, maybe you really want to be positive. Maybe you really want to be more optimistic in life. Maybe you do understand that what's going on in that skull of yours is eventually going to show up in your life. If you are going to create a positive outlook on life, if you're going to have a more determined, a much stronger mindset, a mindset of steel, if I can say it that way in heavy metal fashion, then you're going to need to do basically two things. Number one, you're going to have to deal with negative thoughts when they appear. All right, we all have that, and they happen throughout the day. We're assaulted with so many thoughts throughout any given day that we lose track. I mean, it's in the hundreds, if not thousands, of negative thoughts that you're going to get. They could be momentary. They could be an imagination. They could be you getting caught up with it for a minute or two. But there's negativity that's flooding into your mind every day, and you have to contend with it. So that's one thing, is to deal with negative thoughts as they appear in your mind. But then there's another way, which I think is a better way, and we'll get to that. But that is to drive out any vacant space so negativity can't hold any vacancy in your mind, so that you can crowd out the evil. You know, this time of year where I live is when they plant grass for next year. So the fall is usually the time when those who have fescue grass like I do, you have to start overseeding for the next spring and summer. Now, that is technically the best way for you to deal with unwanted weeds. See, a lot of people think when you got to get rid of weeds, you got to pluck them out. Right? You got to shoot poison on them. You got to get some weed killer in there and get rid of the weeds one by one. But when you've got a big yard and those weeds are spread throughout, are you going to just keep killing weeds one by one? That's an endless struggle. It's a battle you're never going to win. The best way, as a grass lawn guy told me years ago, he said the best way to get rid of the weeds that are in your yard is to just flood your yard with healthy grass. That's the best way to get rid of the weeds. Flood the yard with healthy grass. That means if we turn that over to the head, and if you imagine that the weeds are your negative thoughts, the best way to deal with them is to flood the yard with healthy grass, to flood your mind with positivity. Well, that means you're going to have to become, in essence, a more positive person. And if you haven't been that way, that's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but that's what self-improvement is all about, right? That's why we do what we do. That's what the importance of it is. And people miss this point, man. People really miss this point because to me, the most important thing that you can do, the most important thing that I can do is to become a more developed person, right? To maximize all that I am and all that I can do, to become stronger mentally, spiritually, physically, in every way, shape, and form. I've got to become a stronger person. So that's personal development, right? That's what self-improvement is. Maybe you've never heard those terms before. You just heard motivation. Well, you got to get beyond. I love motivation, all right? I love motivation. I love self-discipline. I love goal setting. I love all of that stuff. But ultimately, what has to happen is self-improvement. Because what happens is that if it's motivation, then a lot of people, when they follow a motivational page, for example, or watch a motivational video or read a motivational book, oftentimes they're just trying to get through a bad time, right? They're just trying to get through a bad day. And so you need that right song. I just had this today on something I posted on Facebook. Somebody said, I get this all the time, but it happened today where somebody says, this is exactly what I needed to hear. It's exactly what I needed to hear. And I always tell them, they're like, how do you know, man? How do you always know? You're always on time. You always post the right thing at the right time. And I tell people, well, I'm as accurate as a horoscope. I'm as accurate as a horoscope. I'm as accurate as a fortune cookie. In other words, the numbers are just in my favor. If I'm covering the primary topics of life, then yes, I'm going to meet the need of several people. So when someone says to me, it's what I needed right now, oftentimes, for a lot of those people, man, that's what they're dealing with. You know what I mean? For that day. But they're going to face more bad days. And sometimes it doesn't dawn on people that I better build a stronger version of myself so that I can start contending with these bad days a hell of a lot better than I'm contending with them right now. So in other words, people get just enough inspiration to get through another bad day. They want just enough motivation to keep tolerating a life that they don't like. Why keep doing that when you could transform yourself? That's what self-improvement is. That's what personal development is. That's what it means to create a mindset of steel. Because the ultimate key, the ultimate goal of all self-improvement is a stronger mind, a stronger constitution. Because a stronger you can face anything. A stronger you can overcome anything. I can't create enough videos or write enough articles or blog posts or books to cover everybody's situation in life. But I don't have to if I focus on the main thing. And what is the main thing? Creating a mindset of steel, right? Becoming a better thinker, developing your mind, your control over your thoughts and what you think, the narrative, the conversation that you're constantly having with yourself. If we can change that, if we can make that positive, then man, you can do anything. You'll figure out the rest. If it's a financial struggle you're going through, or a relationship struggle, or a health issue, you want to just get in shape, whatever it may be, change jobs, change your career, whatever it may be, a stronger version of you mentally will figure that out, right? You'll figure that out. Everybody's financial situation is different. So you can't just read one book on finance because somebody needs to get out of debt. But even then, their situation is unique. They're really in debt. They may have to do more extreme things than somebody else. It's really about the mindset. It's really about the outlook. It's really about the attitude, right? So when it comes to mindset or creating a mindset of steel, you're going to have to deal with your innate negativity. And as I said before, you're going to have to contend with them in the singular fashion as they approach and deal with it at that level. But the better way to get to is when you just flood the yard, as I said, with healthy grass. When you just flood your mind, you are just flooded with positivity. And that's going to happen when it becomes more your tendency, when it becomes more your personal habit. You say, CJ, I've never done that before. I've never been that way before. Well, you're going to be that way. You can learn. They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, unless you consider yourself a butt-sniffing hound, you do have the power to change. You've got the power to change. You can do it. It's one thought at a time. It's just that you're in the habit of thinking the way that you do. Now, a habit can be very strong. A habit can be a strong hold, like a fortress in your mind, a castle. It seems immovable. It seems forever, but you can move it. You can destroy it. It's really more of a house of cards. It's just habitual ways that you've learned how to think. And that's part of this whole process. That's why I'm doing these podcasts and videos and all this sort of stuff. It's just to help people get there, man. I want you to get there. I want people to find the relief that they're looking for. I want people to break out of their depression. I want people to break out of the sadness, break out of the anger, break out of the frustration, break out of the worry, break out of the anxiety, break out of the self-defeat, all of the frustration that they live with on a daily basis. I want them to break free from it, and I know that they can. It's just difficult to reach people. You know, I can't work with everybody one-on-one, but I can do this. I can put not just the information out there, but the attitude out there. I can put the spirit out there. And I hope that's what you catch, is the spirit. You know, they say, if you're going to create YouTube videos, that you have to learn how to do this and learn how to do that. Whatever, man. The most important thing that you need to do is to be able, if you're going to get out here and influence the world, that you can communicate, yes, but that you can communicate more than just in vernacular, more than just what you say, more than just in the content itself, but the spirit of it. Are you an agent of change? Can you light someone else on fire? And that's what mental motivation is. That's what mental motivation is all about. Lighting people on fire in a good way, to be able to burn through the resistance that they face on a daily basis. Now, there are some people who struggle with a lot, man. They are battling for their very life, emotionally, financially, physically, in terms of their relationships, in terms of their job. Man, they are in dire straits right now. and you wish you could help them. But the ultimate help that they need is going to come from themselves. We are our own biggest problem, but we are also our own best solution. You are your best solution to anything that you're facing in life. I hope you can understand that. You are your best solution to anything that you're facing in life. So our job here is to create a stronger version of you, and that's what it means to engage in self-improvement. That's what personal development is all about. That's what a mindset of steel is. So when negativity hits you, when a thought hits you, I hope you can grow in your awareness that it's happening. That's the first problem, right? We're so used to it, we just think it's us. Man, it's not you, because it can change. It may be you now. It may be the jacket you're wearing now, but you can take that jacket off and put on another one. It may be what you're wearing now, but you can change what you're wearing. When negativity arises, start to become aware of it. Start to take note of when negativity starts to happen. And when it does, be merciless. Be merciless and slap it down as soon as it enters your mind, because those negative thoughts, those negative images that are flashing in your mind are out to destroy you. They are out to destroy you. You think they're protecting you, right? Because people think, no, if you're just a positive thinker, that means you've got your head in the sand, bro. You're ignoring reality, man. You're ignoring the fact that the world sucks and life sucks and everything is terrible. And it's because you got your head in the sand trying to be a positive thinker, man, you're not being realistic. No, you're absolutely being realistic. I'm a positive thinker. And well, I'll say that in here just a second. But let me just say again, when negativity first appears, you're going to have to deal with it without hesitation and without mercy. You have to treat it like an enemy. You have to treat it like something that is literally breaking in and trying to destroy you. You can't give it vacancy anymore. So again, it's weak minds that are going to call, positive thinking denying reality. They're the ones who are going to spew the nonsense that you just putting your head in the sand, bro. Yeah, well, staring at the problem without a will to conquer it is not realism. It's surrender. I'm going to say that again. Staring at a problem without an equal will to conquer it is not being realistic. It's surrendering to life. It's surrendering to life. So this is what the naysayers never grasp. Being positive does not mean that you don't see the trouble in the world. It doesn't mean that you don't understand that there's chaos happening. I know full well that the world's it's a madhouse. People can be poisonous. I know that bad things happen to good people. Good souls are getting crushed out there. But none of that is going to command my mindset. The opposite is going to command my mindset. To say to myself, well, then I can be an agent of change. I cannot let that infiltrate. I make myself hard as a sieve that you cannot penetrate my heart and my mind with that negativity. Oh, yeah, sure, some gets through, but I'm at least aware of it. I have a method of dealing with it, and I'm always working on developing and building myself up so that I can, again, crowd out the evil and give negativity no vacancy. No vacancy. So I see the chaos. I know what's going on in the world. So the question becomes then, how can you stay positive, right, when everything around you is bleeding negativity, right? It's bleeding into the earphones, man, right? When noise bleeds in, negativity is bleeding into your mind. It's getting past every effort that you make to try and be positive. That's where, well, here's what I would say. My optimism isn't chained to the world. I'm forging it myself. My optimism is not dependent upon my circumstances. See, most people, their situation has to change. Their circumstance has to change before they're going to feel positive about things. You ever thought about that? When people think about, man, I wish I had that house, or I wish I could meet the right person. Man, if I could just have this job, if I could just make this much money, if I could just be in that country over there, if just we had a different president or whatever it may be, then I would be happy. If things were just ideal, then I would be happy. Well, what does that mean? When everything gets just right, happiness is just going to magically appear out of nowhere? Where does happiness come from? It comes from you. You'll give yourself the permission to be happy when everything is right. But it means that you have the potential for that happiness right now. It doesn't have to wait for circumstances to be right. So my positivity is not rooted in this world. It's not rooted in my situation or my circumstances. Doesn't mean my situation or circumstances don't bother me. Of course they do. My positivity is rooted in this. It's rooted in my ability to adapt, my ability to fight, and my ability to overcome. My ability to adapt, my ability to fight, my ability to overcome. That means personal strength, a mindset of steel. So it's not so much that I'm positive about life directly. In other words, that life is somehow going to work out for me if I just keep happy thoughts in my head, right? This is not Neverland. This is not Peter Pan's world where you just float around if you think happy thoughts. Now, I'm not saying that stuff isn't true, law of attraction and all of these things. I'm not saying it's not true. I don't see enough people having it working for them, right? So I think there's a better way to do this. That is to say, that my positivity is not rooted in the world per se. My positivity is rooted in me, right? By creating a stronger version of me, I am more confident and I am more positive in me. Therefore, I feel I can make much better of a bad situation because I'm relying upon me to change it. So if you don't have that self-reliance, if you don't have that self-confidence, well, then guess what? Life is going to continually kick your ass. Life is going to beat you to a pulp until you grow stronger and more confident in yourself, in your ability to face life and your ability to solve problems without getting frustrated, without getting mad, without giving up, without quitting, without resigning, and then blaming everybody else, blaming the world, when the whole time you could have pushed through, but you quit and you gave up early. So your confidence has to be based on you. That's a mindset of steel, when your confidence is based on you. And the other thing, though, that I guess kind of is in the world is that I know there are proven principles that will turn every struggle into strength, and I trust in my ability to apply them. Whatever it is I want out of life, there are proven principles to achieve them. If I wanted to get out of debt, there are proven principles to do that. If I wanted to make more money, there's proven principles to do that. If I wanted to gain muscle or lose weight, there's proven principles to do that. If I wanted to launch a new career, there's principles there. There are proven principles to create just about any desired outcome that you or I want. And they are as sure as mathematics. They're as sure as the laws of flight. So you're filled with a world that's filled with absolutes. I know it seems crazy, but what happens is if your mind is set on unstable things, you're going to feel unstable. And what you see on social media and what you hear routinely from other people is nothing but instability. That's all people are espousing. So it makes you feel like there's a perpetual, constant earthquake going on in the world. But guess what? There isn't. You are not going to go to bed tonight worried that the sun's not going to rise tomorrow. You're not going to go to bed tonight worried that somehow tomorrow 2 + 2 is suddenly going to equal 5 from now on. Right? You're not going to get on an airplane and take off and think, I wonder if the laws of flight are just going to stop working today while you happen to be flying and the plane just crashes to the ground. The world is filled with absolute certainties, absolute principles that if you build and focus on those, you're going to feel a hell of a lot more stable than you do now. A hell of a lot more stable. If we focus on the certainties, if we focus on the absolutes. So if I have confidence in myself, and I have confidence in the fact that there are principles that can help me get the results that I want, principles and methods to help me overcome the problems that I'm facing, then my confidence in those principles are enough. They're enough. And that, my friend, is the reason for positivity. It's not about putting your head in the sand and just pretending, que sera, everything will be. It's going to be bright and shiny. Just wait and see. No, it will be bright and shiny because you're going to make it bright and shiny. You're going to reach up and you're going to yank that sun out of the sky. You're going to blow away the dark clouds. You're going to turn on the light. You're going to change things in your life because you want to. Not because you're waiting for circumstances to come together and create the results that can only be created by your own effort. Man, I hope you caught that. Most people are waiting around for circumstances to come together to create the results that can only come by their own effort. So positivity is about being positive in you and being positive in the principles in this world. That's where my positivity lives. It's in the will to win. Right? It's not in how life treats me. My positivity can't be based on how life treats me, and it can't be the case for you. Think of a team, right? Professional sports team. They enter the arena to win. They don't enter the arena to see what happens, right? The coach doesn't say, all right, guys, let's go out there and have a great game and let's see what happens. No. They come in there with a mindset to win, right? But that doesn't mean they don't expect resistance. They don't expect penalties. They don't expect mistakes, right? Things that they do themselves that undermine their own success. But it's the winning mindset that's going to turn every one of those setbacks into fuel. You've seen a lot of teams come back in the fourth quarter to win the game, and they were losing the whole game, right? It's about that mindset. So if you lose your head, you're going to lose that game. If you win in the mind, you will win on the field. So don't confuse positivity with fantasy thinking. It's not. It's grounded. It's grounded in sure principles of success that exist in this world, and it's grounded in your own ability to create a stronger version of you to apply those principles. Positivity is really a war mentality. I don't sit around and think just happy thoughts. A lot of people are like that, and God bless them, man. You know, they can think like that. That's not me. There's too much resistance in life for me to just think happy thoughts. To me, it's a war mentality. It doesn't stress me out. No, because I see myself as the conqueror. I'm wired for war. I like the fight. The football player likes the fight. The special forces soldier trains for a fight. He would love for there not to be a war, but he would also love to apply his skills. So it means that you acknowledge the blood, the pain, the resistance, but you remain absolutely convinced that with consistency, belief, and raw determination, you can drag victory right out of the fire, right? You can drag victory right out of that fire. If you've got that consistency, if you believe in yourself and you just have that absolute determination means that the outcome is up to you. Now, yeah, people may come in to help, but you're going to act like it all depends on you. As I like to say, how hard do you work, CJ? Like it all depends on me, because it does. So in the end, it's not the world that's keeping you negative. It's not your circumstances that make you negative. It's not your upbringing that's making you negative. Yeah, it's had a huge impact on you. Absolutely. But if you've really had it that bad, and probably you have the most reason out of anybody to create a better version of yourself in order to create a better life for yourself. It's not the world and life that's keeping you negative. You've been negative, not so much about life ultimately. You've been negative about you. That's the truth. It's not so much that you're just negative about life. Maybe other people see you that way, that you're negative about the world, but ultimately you're negative about you. Because if we can change your attitude about you, it would change your attitude about life and the world and what you're capable of. At least you would enjoy the fight, the bloodbath of positivity that you would create as you create change for yourself and for the people that you care about. You've been negative about yourself, negative about your power, your potential, and your ability to rise again. And that has to stop now. Can you dig that? I hope you can. I hope you enjoyed this video and enjoyed this channel. Metal Motivation. If you would love to support this metal mission, the best way to do that is go to my store right now, metalmotivationstore.com. Plenty of apparel and accessories for motivated people who love heavy metal. Go there now, metalmotivationstore.com. This is CJ, the Metal Motivator, and remember, in whatever you do, don't suck metal up.